Welcome to the Nostalgia Archive. It's been a long day. It's time to relax. If you fall asleep, that's the point. This video will keep going for hours. Tonight, we drift back to a simpler digital landscape, specifically the years between 2005 and 2009, before algorithms dictated our tastes and before polished production values became the standard. There was a raw, chaotic, and wonderfully honest place called YouTube. Imagine sitting at a beige desktop computer, the hum of the fan filling the room, staring at a screen that wasn't yet high definition. It was a time of grainy webcams, unscripted confessionals, and the thrill of stumbling upon a video with only 300 views that felt like a secret shared just with you. The internet felt smaller then, less like a broadcast and more like a conversation. We are revisiting the era of broadcast yourself, where the imperfections were part of the charm, and the community felt like a small town on the edge of a vast, unexplored frontier. Number 1 begins with the first upload. On a cool Saturday in April of 2005, a grainy, low-resolution clip flickered into existence, forever altering the trajectory of the internet, though no one knew it at the time. The video was titled, simply, Me at the Zoo. There was no fanfare, no intro music, and certainly no request to smash the like button. It was just a young man named Jawed, standing in front of an elephant enclosure at the San Diego Zoo. The wind distorted the audio, rushing against the microphone, while he spoke awkwardly but earnestly about the elephant's long trunks. The quality was poor, the framing was amateur, and the content was fundamentally mundane. Yet, it captured the very essence of what the platform was intended to be: a digital window into an ordinary moment of someone else's life. It wasn't about performance or production, it was about presence. Watching it now feels like looking at an old Polaroid found in a shoebox, a testament to a time when sharing a video was a novelty, not a career path, and the world was just beginning to learn how to watch itself. Number 2 is the 5-star rating system. Before the binary simplicity of the thumbs up or thumbs down, and long before the concept of engagement metrics ruled the sidebar, we judged content with a sense of nuance. Beneath every video player sat a row of 5 empty stars, waiting to be filled with gold. Hovering your mouse cursor over them was a deliberate act. You had to decide, was this video merely a 3-star effort, decent but forgettable, or was it a 5-star masterpiece, deserving of the highest praise? There was a tactile satisfaction in clicking the 5th star and watching the entire row light up in a warm yellow hue. It felt like a true critique, a democratic process where the community collectively decided quality through an average score rather than a ratio of approval. A video with a perfect 5-star rating felt like a rare gem, a certified classic of the viral age. The system encouraged a spectrum of opinion, suggesting that not everything had to be loved or hated. Sometimes things were just okay, and in that era, just okay was perfectly acceptable. Number 3 is the 240p resolution. In the modern age of 4K clarity, it is easy to forget that we once viewed the world through a haze of digital artifacts and heavy compression. The standard definition of early YouTube was a wash of pixels, a soft, blurry impression of reality that required your imagination to fill in the details. Faces in the distance were merely peach-colored blocks. Text on a screen was often illegible. The bitrate was so low that fast movement would cause the screen to break apart into a mosaic of grey and brown squares, known as macro blocking. Yet this lack of clarity contributed to the atmosphere of mystery. Whether you were watching a grainy conspiracy theory, a blurry skate trick, or a music video ripped from television, the low fidelity gave everything a bootleg, underground feeling. We didn't mind the blur because the access itself was the miracle. We sat patiently, squinting at our monitors, waiting for the red buffering circle to stop spinning, grateful for even the blockiest glimpse of the video we had been searching for. Number 4 is the 10-minute time limit. Today, video essays can span hours, drifting on endlessly. But in the early days, creators were bound by a strict, unyielding constraint. You had exactly 10 minutes to tell your story. This limitation accidentally created a specific rhythm and language for online video. Complex narratives had to be broken down, resulting in titles ending with parentheticals like Part 1 of 3. It forced brevity and urgency. Vloggers spoke quickly to fit their day into the allocation. Sketch comedians learned the art of the quick edit. Watching a series required dedication, as you had to manually click through the related videos sidebar to find the next installment, hoping the uploader had numbered them correctly. There was a unique cliffhanger sensation when a video cut to black at the 9-minute and 59-second mark, forcing you to hunt for the continuation. It was a constraint that fostered creativity, making the content feel serialized and episodic, reminiscent of waiting for a commercial break to end, except you were the one in control of the remote. Number 5 is the unregistered HyperCam 2 watermark. For a generation of computer users looking for tutorials, this text in the upper left corner of the screen is an indelible memory. It was the stamp of the amateur expert. The video would usually begin with a view of a Windows XP desktop, the blissfully green hill and blue sky wallpaper setting the scene. The cursor would move with hesitation, opening a notepad file. Because few people had microphones or the confidence to speak, the communication happened through typing. "Hello guys," they would type, often backspacing to correct a typo. "Today I will show you how to get free coins." The soundtrack was almost always a high-energy trance anthem, possibly 009 sound system Dreamscape, playing loudly over the silent typing. This aesthetic, the watermark, the notepad narration, the screen capture software, was the raw, unpolished pedagogy of the early web. It was distinctively lonely yet helpful, a silent pantomime of instruction that taught millions of children how to install mods or fix distinct software errors in the dead of night. Number 6 is the customizable channel background. Before the streamlined, uniform white layouts of today, visiting a YouTube channel felt like entering someone's personal bedroom. You were greeted not just by a list of videos, but by a chaotic, vibrant expression of personality. Users could upload any image to tile across the background of their page. Some chose repeating patterns of neon skulls. Others used low-resolution photos of their favorite bands or poorly cropped anime characters. You could adjust the transparency of the foreground modules, allowing the background to bleed through the text. The color palettes were often garish, bright red text on a black background, or neon green borders on dark blue. It was messy, difficult to read, and aesthetically clashing, but it was deeply personal. It reminded you that a human being was on the other end of the connection, someone who had spent hours tweaking hex color codes to make their digital space feel like home. It was a remnant of the MySpace era, where identity was defined by how much you could break the standard design template. Number 7 is the video response. In the current era, conversation happens in the comments section, buried under threads of text. But in the early days, conversation was visual. Beneath the video player, there was a specific feature that allowed you to upload a video as a direct reply to what you had just watched. This created chains of dialogue that spanned across the world. If a creator asked a question, the community didn't just type an answer, they turned on their webcams and spoke back. You could click a link to see a grid of faces, all reacting, debating, or laughing in response to the original clip. It made the platform feel less like a stage and more like a town hall meeting. A viral video would spawn hundreds of video responses, creating a web of interconnected content that you could get lost in for hours. It fostered a sense of genuine interaction, where the audience members were also creators, and the line between the watcher and the watched was beautifully blurred. Number 8 is the yellow subscribe button. The call to action on early YouTube was not the red rectangle we know today, but a small, unassuming button, often colored a soft, mustard yellow or orange. It sat subtly above the video player, not below it. Clicking it was a rare and significant commitment. You didn't subscribe to hundreds of channels, you subscribed to 5 or 6. It was a curated list of the people whose lives you genuinely wanted to follow. Because the algorithm didn't exist to feed you content, the subscription box was your only lifeline to new uploads. When that yellow button was clicked, it meant you were locking into a schedule. You were telling the site that this specific creator was important to you. The visual memory of that yellow button is tied to the feeling of scarcity and loyalty. It belonged to an era before notification bells, when checking your subscriptions page was a daily ritual, performed with the hope that one of your few favorites had uploaded something new. Number 9 is the buffering snake. Waiting for a video to load was a universal experience, a tax we paid for free entertainment. But for a brief period, YouTube turned this waiting time into a hidden game. If you held down the arrow keys while the dreaded circle spun in the center of the screen, the dots would detach and form a snake. You could guide this string of lights around the black video player, collecting dots to grow longer, playing a version of the classic game Snake directly on the video frame. It was an Easter egg that turned frustration into a pastime. It acknowledged the limitations of the technology, the slow internet speeds and the heavy server loads, and offered a small, playful olive branch. Discovering it felt like finding a secret code. It is a memory of a time when software felt playful and filled with hidden secrets, and when we were much more patient, willing to play a simple game of Snake for 3 minutes just to watch a 2-minute video clip. Number 10 is the broadcast yourself slogan. This phrase was more than just a tagline, it was a manifesto. It appeared on the logo, stamped next to the cathode ray tube icon, serving as a constant reminder of the platform's purpose. In the mid-2000s, the idea that you, a regular person with a cheap camera and a messy room, could be a broadcaster was revolutionary. Traditional media was a fortress, impenetrable and polished. Broadcast yourself was an invitation to storm the gates. It validated the mundane. It told us that our cat videos, our GarageBand covers, and our awkward vlogs were worthy of transmission. The slogan carried a weight of empowerment that has since evaporated. It wasn't about creating content for a market. It was about broadcasting your self-expression. The removal of this slogan marked the end of an era, shifting from a user-centric playground to a media-centric giant. But for those who remember, those 2 words summarize the entire optimistic spirit of the early web. Number 11 is the Star Wars kid. In the lexicon of early internet history, few images are as evocative as a grainy, silent recording of a high school student wielding a golf ball retriever like a lightsaber. It was a video never intended for the world to see, recovered from a basement tape and uploaded without consent. Yet it became a defining moment for digital culture. We watched Ghislain Raza move with uninhibited passion, twirling his makeshift weapon against an invisible enemy, his movements leaving trails of digital artifacts on the low-quality video file. It was a time before going viral was a coveted career path. Instead, it was a sudden, overwhelming accident. Watching it now, there is a strange innocence to the footage. It captures a moment of pure, unguarded imagination, the kind we all indulged in when we thought no one was watching. The remix culture that exploded around it, adding lightsaber special effects and John Williams' score, marked the beginning of the internet as a participatory playground, where a private moment could be transformed, shared, and immortalized by strangers. establishing the complex, often messy relationship between privacy and public entertainment. Number 12 is the Pokémon theme music video by Smosh. Before polished sketch comedy troupes and high-budget production teams dominated the platform, there were just two teenagers in a suburban bedroom in Sacramento. Ian and Anthony represented the archetype of the early YouTube creator, bored friends with a webcam and too much free time. Their lip-sync video to the Pokémon anime theme song was the gold standard of early viral comedy. It was blurry, the lighting was just the yellow cast of a ceiling fan, and the props were clearly stuffed animals pulled from a closet. Yet, it felt monumental. It was the most viewed video on the entire site for a significant period. It captured the specific energy of teenage friendship, the inside jokes, the willingness to look ridiculous, and the creative use of mundane surroundings. When the video was eventually removed due to copyright claims, it felt like a library burning down. It was our first lesson in the fragility of digital media, teaching us that the things we loved online could vanish overnight, leaving only the memory of two friends pretending to be Ash Ketchum in a messy room. Number 13 is the Rickroll. There was a time when clicking a link was a game of Russian roulette. You would be promised a leaked trailer for a highly anticipated video game or a secret tutorial for a difficult software problem, only to be greeted by the rhythmic drum intro and the swaying silhouette of Rick Astley. Never Gonna Give You Up became the anthem of the bait-and-switch generation. It was a prank that relied on the architecture of the early web, where curiosity outweighed caution. The experience was always the same. The moment of confusion as the 1980s pop synth started, followed by the realization that you had been tricked, and finally, the reluctant acceptance as you let the song play out. It was a harmless, communal joke, a shared language of deception that transcended borders. Unlike the malicious links of the modern web, the Rickroll was fundamentally playful. It forced us to not take our browsing so seriously. The 4:3 aspect ratio of the music video, the trench coat, and the bartender doing a backflip became burned into the collective retina of the internet, a symbol of a time when the worst thing that could happen to you online was listening to a catchy pop song. Number 14 is Windows Movie Maker. If you close your eyes, you can likely see the title card, a bright, harsh blue background with white Arial font, perhaps utilizing the shattered glass transition effect. This software was the paintbrush of the amateur auteur. It came pre-installed on millions of PCs, democratizing video editing for an entire generation. It was clunky, prone to crashing, and offered a very limited library of effects, but it was accessible. It established the visual aesthetic of early YouTube. The star wipe transition, the slow motion effect that made the audio sound demonic, and the rolling credits at the end asking viewers to please rate and sub. These were the hallmarks of a movie maker production. The software didn't allow for complexity, so it forced a kind of raw simplicity. We didn't care about color grading or sound mixing. We just wanted to stitch clips together and put a Limp Bizkit song over them. Seeing that specific shade of blue at the start of a video was a signal that you were watching something made by a real person, likely late at night, struggling against the limitations of their crashing computer to share a piece of their mind. Number 15 is Lonely Girl 15. Before the lines between reality and fiction were blurred by influencers and scripted reality shows, there was Brie. She sat in her bedroom, speaking intimately to the camera about her strict parents, her homework, and her boring life. She felt like a friend. Her videos were short, low quality, and seemingly utterly authentic. We followed her narrative arc with bated breath, believing we were witnessing the life of a genuine teenage girl unfolding in real time. When it was revealed that Brie was an actress named Jessica Rose, and the entire channel was a scripted, fictional project, the community felt a collective shockwave. It was the first great hoax of the video sharing era. It taught us that the intimate vlog format could be a vehicle for storytelling, not just confession. While some felt betrayed, looking back, it was a pioneering moment in transmedia storytelling. It proved that a webcam and a monologue could be as compelling as cinema. The grainy footage of her room, the lighting, and the pacing set the template for the confessional style that countless real creators would mimic for decades to come. Number 16 is the evolution of dance. For years, this was the monarch of the most viewed list, an unshakable titan of the platform. It featured a comedian named Judson Lightly, wearing an orange t-shirt and jeans, standing on a simple stage. For 6 minutes, he performed a chronological medley of dance moves, from Elvis to MC Hammer to Outkast. The video quality was poor, the audio was compressed, and the lighting was flat, but the concept was universally understood. It was the kind of video you showed your parents to explain what YouTube was. It was safe, entertaining, and endlessly rewatchable. There was a rhythm to it, the anticipation of the next song, the recognition of the moves, and the sheer stamina of the performance. It represented a time when viral meant universal appeal rather than niche controversy. We all watched the same video. It wasn't served to us by a personalized algorithm that knew our demographics. It was shared via email chains and instant messenger links. That orange t-shirt became an icon, a symbol of a time when the internet felt like a single, large room where everyone was watching the same talent show. Number 17 is the anime music video, or AMV. There is a specific melancholy nostalgia attached to the sound of Linkin Park's In the End, or Numb, playing over clips of Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. For millions of young fans, this was their first foray into editing. They would scour the web for raw episodes, often with hard-coded subtitles from fan subgroups, and painstakingly sync the fighting scenes to the drum beats of early 2000s nu metal or emo rock. The emotional intensity of the music perfectly matched the dramatic, high-stakes battles of the anime. It was a subculture of angst and admiration. These videos were often grainy, suffering from repeated compression, but the passion was palpable. You could feel the editor trying to convey their feelings through the media they loved. The "crawling in my skin" drop coinciding with a character transformation was a trope, yes, but it was also a rite of passage. These AMVs introduced many to bands they had never heard and shows they had never seen, acting as a cultural cross-pollination service run entirely by teenagers with too much emotion and Windows Movie Maker. Number 18 is Charlie Bit My Finger. In an era before family vloggers turned their children's lives into daily content farms, there was this singular, unscripted moment of British domesticity. The video is deceptively simple. Two young brothers, Harry and Charlie, sitting in a chair. The older brother, Harry, puts his finger in the baby's mouth. The bite happens, the grimace, the polite British complaint. "Charlie, that really hurt." And the baby's mischievous, unapologetic laugh. It was lightning in a bottle. It wasn't staged, the lighting wasn't managed, and the camera was shaky. It captured the universal dynamic of siblings, the pain and the love coexisting in a single minute. It became a global phenomenon, not because it was high art, but because it was undeniably real. It reminded us of our own families, our own home videos sitting on VHS tapes in the attic. It was a time when a viral video could just be a funny moment that happened to be captured, rather than a moment manufactured specifically to go viral. The laughter of Charlie was the laughter of the early internet, innocent, surprising, and contagious. Number 19 is the featured videos. Page. Before the homepage was a mirror reflecting your own interests back at you, populated by an algorithm designed to maximize your attention, it was a curated list known as featured videos. This section was the town square. Editors at YouTube handpicked what the world would watch that day. This meant that everyone, regardless of their interests, was exposed to the same eclectic mix of content. You might see a stop-motion Lego animation next to a political vlog, next to a cat playing a keyboard. It created a shared culture. If a video was featured, it was the talk of the internet for 24 hours. It gave the site a sense of editorial voice, a feeling that there were humans behind the machine guiding us toward cool things. We didn't live in filter bubbles, we lived in a potluck. Losing the featured page marked the transition from a community-driven site to a data-driven one. We gained efficiency, but we lost the serendipity of clicking a thumbnail just because a human being thought it was worth watching. Number 20 is Dreamscape by 009 Sound System. This track is the unofficial national anthem of early YouTube. If you watched a tutorial on how to use Notepad, a compilation of car crashes, or a slideshow of uncredited fan art, you heard this song. It begins with that distinctive heavy synth chord, followed by the trance beat and the robotic nasal vocals. It wasn't chosen because everyone loved it, it was chosen because of the audio swap system. When record labels began muting videos for copyright infringement, YouTube offered a library of pre-cleared, safe tracks to replace the silence. 009 Sound System was at the top of that list alphabetically. As a result, this specific piece of royalty-free trance music became the soundtrack to millions of unrelated videos. Hearing it now triggers a Pavlovian response. It smells like ozone and overheating CPUs. It reminds us of a time when copyright law was catching up to the internet and creators were scrambling just to keep their videos online. It is a song that stands for the persistence of the user, the determination to share a video even if the only audio available is a generic techno beat. Number 21 is the Reply Girl phenomenon. In the ecosystem of the late 2000s, a strange symbiotic relationship formed between the algorithm and a specific type of opportunist. The related videos sidebar was the primary highway for traffic, and creators realized that the system prioritized videos that were technically responses to popular uploads. Thus, the Reply Girl was born. These were often videos where a young woman would sit in front of a webcam, framing the shot to emphasize her chest in the thumbnail, purely to capture the wandering eyes of the predominantly male demographic. The content of the video itself was usually irrelevant, often just rambling agreement or silence, but the thumbnail was a powerful magnet. It was an early form of clickbait before the term was widely used. It created a visual clutter in the sidebar, a wall of suggestive images surrounding every viral hit. While it was often decried as spam by the community, looking back, it was a fascinating example of users reverse engineering a primitive algorithm, finding the cracks in the code and exploiting them for visibility in a digital Wild West where rules were still being written. Number 22 is the 301 plus view count. For years, there was a specific, frozen number that served as a badge of honor for early adopters, 301. When a video went viral, the view counter would tick upward normally until it hit roughly 300 views. Then it would stop. The counter would simply display 301 plus for hours, sometimes days. This was not a glitch, but a verification pause. The YouTube servers, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of traffic, needed time to verify that the views were coming from real humans and not bots. For the viewer, seeing 301 plus was a thrill. It meant you were there early. It meant you were watching the video before the system could even catch up to its popularity. You were part of the Under 301 Club, a secret society of first responders to a viral event. It added a layer of mystery to the metrics, a reminder that behind the screen, there were physical servers and lines of code struggling to contain the sheer volume of human attention being poured into the site. Number 23 is Numa Numa. If you trace the DNA of the modern internet influencer back to its source, you will find Gary Brolsma sitting in his chair in New Jersey. His webcam video, set to the Romanian pop song Dragostea Din Te by Ozone, is a monument to pure, unmonetized joy. There was no ring light, there was no 1080p camera. There was just a young man lip-syncing and waving his arms with uninhibited enthusiasm. He wasn't trying to sell merchandise. He wasn't trying to build a brand. He was simply having fun. The video quality is blurry. The lighting is just the ambient glow of the room. But the energy is infectious. It represents the old internet in its most benevolent form. A place where we shared moments of silliness without the pressure of performance. Watching Gary pump his fists in the air is to watch a moment of complete freedom. Before we all learned to curate our online personas, and before the internet became a place where we had to look perfect to be seen. Number 24 is the Will It Blend series. There was a satisfying, destructive nihilism to the marketing of Blendtec blenders. The premise was identical in every episode. A man in a white lab coat, Tom Dixon, stood in a sterile white room with a high-powered blender. He would present an object, usually something desirable and expensive, like a new iPhone, a glow stick, or a handful of marbles. With a polite smile, he would ask the titular question, "Will it blend?" The answer was always yes. We watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as hundreds of dollars of technology were reduced to black dust and toxic smoke. The phrase, "Don't breathe this," spoken as he removed the lid to reveal the pulverized remains, became a catchphrase of the era. It was viral marketing done perfectly, but it also tapped into a primal urge to see things destroyed. In a world where technology was becoming increasingly precious and fragile, there was a cathartic release in watching it being ground into fine powder by a kitchen appliance. Number 25 is Chocolate Rain. The voice did not match the face. That was the hook that drew millions of people to listen to Tay Zonday. Standing at a professional microphone, wearing a white t-shirt, he looked young and unassuming. But when he opened his mouth, a deep, resonant bass baritone voice poured out, singing a repetitive, hypnotic loop about institutional racism and history, disguised as a quirky pop song. The video is famous not just for the song, but for a specific on-screen caption. During the performance, Zonday turns his head away from the microphone to inhale. To clarify this action, he added a text overlay. "I move away from the mic to breathe in." This oddly specific, helpful annotation became legendary. It showcased the amateur sincerity of the platform. He wanted the audience to understand his technique. It was a video that straddled the line between meme and art, a viral hit that was both laughed at and genuinely respected for its strangeness and the undeniable talent of its creator. Number 26 is the YouTube Poop. Often abbreviated as YTP, this was an avant-garde editing style that could only have emerged from the chaotic minds of internet-native teenagers. These videos were remixes of existing media, usually cutscenes from the CDI Zelda games, episodes of SpongeBob, or King of the Hill, but they were edited to be deliberately incoherent. Editors would loop a single syllable until it became a machine gun stutter, scramble sentences to create nonsensical vulgarity, and distort the colors until the video was a psychedelic nightmare. It was Dadaism for the digital age. It made no sense, and that was the point. It was a rejection of narrative and structure. To find a YouTube poop funny required a broken sense of humor, one rewired by hours of screen time. Phrases like "my boy" and "spaghetti" became shibboleths, secret passwords that identified you as someone who understood this bizarre, loud, and aggressively confusing subculture of video editing that thrived in the darker corners of the search bar. Number 27 is Shoes by Kelly. Before high-budget comedy sketches became the norm, there was Liam Kyle Sullivan wearing a blonde wig and a red shirt. The music video for Shoes was a cultural reset for online comedy. It captured a specific brand of suburban consumerist ennui. The beat was electroclash catchy, the lyrics were simple, and the delivery was deadpan. Kelly was a character who just wanted shoes, and her dismissal of everything else with the word "betches" entered the teenage vernacular overnight. The video felt like a home movie that had accidentally achieved professional quality. It was long, over 3 minutes, which was an eternity for a comedy sketch, but we memorized every line. It satirized the materialism of the mid-2000s while simultaneously participating in it. It was the era of the skit evolving into the music video, a format that allowed comedians to tour and sell iTunes downloads, bridging the gap between internet fame and real-world celebrity. Number 28 is The Fred Channel. No sound is more polarizing in YouTube history than the high-pitched, sped-up scream of Fred Figglehorn. Created by Lucas Cruikshank, Fred was a hyperactive 6-year-old with anger management issues, living in a dysfunctional household. To achieve the voice, Lucas would record his lines and then speed up the footage, giving him a chipmunk-like quality. The editing was frantic, a barrage of jump cuts that mirrored the character's unstable psyche. For a time, Fred was the single most popular channel on the platform, the first to hit 1 million subscribers. He represented a generational divide. Adults found him unbearable, while children found him hilarious. He was the precursor to the high-energy, loud style of vlogging that dominates today. The Fred era was the moment YouTube realized that its primary demographic was not tech-savvy adults, but children with infinite free time, looking for a character who matched their own boundless energy. Number 29 is Leave Britney Alone. In September 2007, Chris Crocker uploaded a video that was raw, uncomfortable, and prophetic. Weeping openly, eyeliner running down his face, sitting against a simple bedsheet backdrop, he screamed a defense of pop star Britney Spears, who was being savaged by the tabloids. At the time, the video was mocked relentlessly. It was parodied, remixed, and laughed at as the epitome of hysterical overreaction. However, viewed through the lens of history, the video strikes a different chord. It was one of the first major examples of a parasocial defense, a fan feeling a deep, personal obligation to protect a celebrity. The low-quality audio, distorted by his shouting, and the stark intimacy of the bedroom setting made it feel voyeuristic. We were watching a genuine breakdown. It was a harsh reminder that the people on our screens were real, capable of real pain, and that the internet's instinct to mock emotion was one of its cruelest features. Number 30 is the spinning globe icon. Before the modern flat design of browser tabs, there was a specific favicon that spun in the corner of your browser window while a video loaded. It wasn't the red play button we know today. In the very early days, it was often the browser's own loading animation, or on the site itself, small, spinning graphics that indicated data was moving. But more nostalgically, this fact refers to the tactile experience of the embed code. Next to every video was a text box containing HTML code. YouTube wanted you to take their videos and put them elsewhere, on MySpace, on LiveJournal, on your personal blog. The internet was a web of embedded players. You didn't just watch YouTube on YouTube, you watched it on a friend's profile page, surrounded by falling glitter graphics and auto-playing MIDI music. The video player was a portable object, a badge of identity that you carried with you across the digital landscape, planting your favorite clips like flags in the soil of your own digital corner. Number 31 is the mysterious ticking noise. In the landscape of early viral hits, few videos captured the rhythmic, repetitive absurdity of the internet, quite like the Potter Puppet Pals. Neil Cicierega Puppet Show stripped away the high-budget magic of the films and replaced it with handmade felt puppets bobbing in front of a simple, painted curtain. The mysterious ticking noise wasn't just a sketch, it was a musical earworm that burrowed into the collective consciousness. The rhythmic chanting of names, Snape, Snape, Severus Snape, layered over a metronomic beat, created a symphony of nonsense that we memorized like a nursery rhyme. We watched the puppets pop up from the bottom of the screen with perfect comedic timing, leading to the inevitable, explosive conclusion. It represented a specific era of fan culture where parody was affectionate but deeply silly. It was safe enough to show in a classroom, but weird enough to feel like an inside joke, a perfect loop of puppet percussion that we played on repeat until the names lost all meaning. Number 32 is the red annotation box. Before cards and end screens seamlessly integrated into the video player, creators used a blunt, intrusive tool to communicate with us: the annotation. These were speech bubbles, spotlights, and bright red rectangles that would pop up aggressively over the video content, often obscuring the very thing you were trying to watch. They were the sticky notes of the video player. "Click here to subscribe" would flash in neon colors, covering a face or a critical detail. There was a specific, tactile frustration in hunting for the tiny X in the corner of the box to close it. Sometimes a creator would abuse the feature, plastering the screen with so many notes that the video became a wall of text. Yet, there is a nostalgia for their clunky utility. They were used to create choose-your-own-adventure games, linking videos together in a complex web, a feature that felt like magic at the time. They were messy and ugly, but they were a direct line of communication from the uploader to the viewer, grafted right onto the glass. Number 33 is Charlie the Unicorn. In the mid-2000s, surrealism took a colorful, dark turn. We followed three crudely animated unicorns on a journey to a mythical location known as Candy Mountain. The video was a masterclass in non-sequitur humor. The two blue and pink unicorns spoke in high-pitched, enthusiastic voices, while Charlie, the grey protagonist, was the voice of reason, grumpy and reluctant. The animation was stiff, the audio quality fluctuated, and the plot was nonsensical, involving musical numbers and a bizarre, kidney-stealing finale. It became a cultural touchstone for a generation raised on Adult Swim and Flash animation. Quotes like, "It's a Leopleurodon, Charlie," were traded in school hallways like secret passwords. It wasn't just a funny video, it was an experience in absurdity. It taught us that the internet didn't need to make sense to be entertaining. In fact, the less sense it made, the more we loved it. It was a fever dream that we all shared, full of bright colors and dark undertones. Number 34 is the bedroom guitar cover. Specifically, the phenomenon of canon rock. There was a time when the ultimate display of skill was sitting on the edge of your bed, plugging a Fender Stratocaster into an amp and shredding Pachelbel's Canon in D. The visual language was always the same: a messy room in the background, posters on the wall, bad lighting, and a young musician with their head down, focusing intensely on the fretboard. The most famous iteration, arranged by Jerry C. and performed by Funtu, inspired thousands of copycats. It was a global talent show with no judges. We watched these videos not just for the music, but for the aspiration. It made virtuosity seem attainable. You didn't need a record deal or a studio. You just needed a webcam and hours of practice. The audio was often compressed, buzzing with static, but the notes cut through. It was the era of the guitar hero, both in the video game sense and in the reality of these silent bedroom prodigies who spoke only through their solos. Number 35 is the Boom Headshot Guy. Before the billion-dollar esports industry filled stadiums, gaming culture was defined by a grainy mockumentary series called Pure Pwnage. The breakout star was a character named FPS Doug, a jittery, intense gamer who embodied the obsessive nature of the Counter-Strike era. With a bandana tied around his head and a controller duct-taped to his hand, would scream, "Boom! Headshot!" with a mixture of manic joy and aggression. The video quality was poor, shot in basements and internet cafes, where the hum of CRT monitors was audible. Doug's frantic energy and his running monologue about his micro skills became the vernacular of every LAN party. It was a caricature, but it felt affectionate. It captured the specific intensity of late-night gaming sessions, the adrenaline of the virtual kill, and the social awkwardness of the hardcore gamer. We laughed because we recognized him. He was the friend who took the game too seriously, immortalized in low-resolution glory. Number 36 is David After Dentist. This video is the quintessential example of the accidental viral hit. It is a home movie in the purest sense. A father records his 7-year-old son, David, slumped in the backseat of a car, recovering from dental surgery anesthesia. The footage is shaky. The lighting is natural sunlight streaming through the car window. David's confusion is palpable and hilarious. He asks the existential questions that defined the meme. Is this real life? And is this going to be forever? He slides down in his seat, screaming in a high-pitched wail. There was no intent to be funny. It was just a captured moment of vulnerability. We watched it millions of times because it was so unguarded. It was a window into a private family moment that somehow belonged to everyone. It reminded us of the strange, foggy state of consciousness we've all felt, capturing a human experience that was equal parts concerning and hysterical, framed perfectly by the leather upholstery of a family sedan. Number 37 is Salad Fingers. While it originated on Newgrounds, its migration to YouTube brought a deep, unsettling chill to the platform. Created by David Firth, this flash animation series felt like a nightmare broadcast from a distant, decaying world. The protagonist, a green, hunchbacked figure with elongated fingers, spoke in a trembling, whispery voice about the texture of rusty spoons. The sound design was oppressive, low drones, unsettling scrapes, and the wet sound of the character touching dirty objects. It stood in stark contrast to the loud, high-energy comedy that dominated the site. Salad Fingers was slow, quiet, and genuinely disturbing. Watching it alone in a dark room was a test of endurance. It brought the avant-garde and the grotesque to the mainstream, proving that online animation could be more than just stick figure fights. It could be atmospheric horror. It smelled of mildew and old iron, a sensory experience that lingered long after the video ended, leaving you with a profound sense of unease. Number 38 is the News Blooper compilation. Before we had endless streams of polished content, we found immense joy in the failure of professionals. The News Blooper compilation was a staple of early YouTube viewing. We watched anchors dissolve into uncontrollable fits of giggles, reporters get hit by snowballs, and weathermen struggle with malfunctioning green screens. There was a specific comfort in seeing the facade of authority crumble. These people in suits, with their perfect hair and serious voices, were revealed to be human. The grape stomp lady who fell face first while cheating at a winemaking contest and let out a guttural groan of pain is etched into history. These clips were often ripped from VHS recordings of local broadcasts, giving them a fuzzy, scan-lined aesthetic. They were reminders that perfection is impossible, and that the funniest moments are the ones that go wrong live on air. We watch them to humanize the media, finding connection in the shared embarrassment of a stranger. Number 39 is Auto-Tune the News. The Gregory brothers took the dry, serious world of 24-hour news broadcasts and processed it through the robotic filter of pitch correction software. The result was a bizarrely catchy hybrid of satire and pop music. They would take a clip of a senator speaking about a budget crisis or an angry witness giving a statement and manipulate their speech until it became a melodic hook. The most famous iteration, Bed Intruder Song, featuring Antoine Dodson, became a legitimate chart-topping hit. It blurred the lines between the news cycle and the entertainment cycle. It was a transformation of tragedy and boredom into rhythm. The visual aesthetic, news clips superimposed over colourful backgrounds with the Gregory brothers dancing in the corners, was chaotic and vibrant. It taught us that anything, even a mundane interview about a local crime, could be a song if you added enough reverb and a backing beat. It was the peak of remix culture, where the audience took control of the narrative and made it dance. Number 40 is the stop-motion Lego animation. For a certain demographic, YouTube was primarily a gallery for brick films. These were labors of love, created frame by agonizing frame by children and teenagers on their bedroom floors. The camera was often a cheap webcam, meaning the lighting would flicker wildly as the sun moved across the sky outside, a phenomenon known as light flicker. The characters were yellow plastic minifigures, walking with a distinct shuffle as the animator moved their legs back and forth. The voices were usually the creator doing bad impressions, recorded on a staticky microphone. Yet, the charm was undeniable. We watched Lego Batman fight Lego Star Wars characters in epic crossovers that official media would never allow. We could feel the patience required to make these videos, the hours spent moving a plastic arm 2 millimeters at a time. It was the purest form of digital play, a global show and tell where the production value mattered less than the sheer dedication of bringing inanimate toys to life. Number 41 is the car commercial jump scare. There is a specific collective trauma shared by everyone who browsed the internet in the mid-2000s. It often arrived in the form of a video titled Ghost Car or Relaxing Drive. The footage was serene, a white car driving along a winding road through green, misty hills. The camera panned slowly, following the vehicle as it disappeared behind a copse of trees. The silence was heavy, forcing you to lean closer to your monitor, turning up your speakers to hear the faint wind or engine noise. You were lulled into a state of focus, squinting to see the details. Then, without warning, a grotesque, zombie-like face would flash onto the screen, accompanied by a deafening, distorted scream. It was a digital jack-in-the-box, a prank designed to exploit our focus. It taught us a valuable, if harsh, lesson about the internet. Never trust a quiet video. The heart-pounding adrenaline spike that followed, and the nervous laughter as you sent the link to a friend to pass on the terror, is a defining memory of a time when the web felt wild and filled with traps. Number 42 is Ask a Ninja. Before the rise of the daily lifestyle vlogger, internet personalities were often characters, hidden behind masks and personas. One of the most prominent was a man dressed in a makeshift black ninja costume, visible only by his eyes and mouth. He spoke in a rapid-fire, breathless delivery, utilizing a unique slang that combines surfer lingo with pseudo-philosophical martial arts jargon. The editing was frenetic, utilizing jump cuts to remove every pause for breath, a technique that would become standard for YouTubers years later. He answered user-submitted questions with absurd, meandering logic. It was comedy born of the random humor era, where non-sequiturs were the height of wit. The low-budget aesthetic, likely filmed in a bedroom or a garage against a black sheet, was part of the charm. It felt like a pirate broadcast from an underground resistance, a weird, hyper-specific transmission that you had to be in on to understand. It was a precursor to the fast-talking, jump-cut-heavy commentary channels that would eventually dominate the platform. Number 43 is Where the Hell is Matt? In an era often defined by irony and detachment, Matt Harding offered a moment of pure, global sincerity. The premise was simple: a man traveling the world, setting up a tripod, and doing a goofy, uncoordinated dance in front of iconic landmarks. He wasn't a professional dancer, he was just a guy swaying his arms and stepping side to side. But as the videos evolved, the scope grew. The solitary dance became a communal one. We watched him dance with tribes in Africa, crowds in Tokyo, and researchers in Antarctica. The song, typically a soaring atmospheric track, swelled as the montage cut across continents. It was a video that sold us the dream of a connected world. It made the planet feel small and friendly. Watching it gave you a lump in your throat, a feeling of sonder, the realization that everyone, everywhere, was alive and capable of joy. It was the internet's version of a postcard, sent from humanity to itself, promising that despite our differences, we could all share a clumsy dance. Number 44 is Mystery Guitar Man. Joe Penna brought a level of technical creativity to the platform that felt like magic. He was instantly recognizable by his dark sunglasses, which he never removed, adding an air of stoic mystery to his performances. His videos were not just musical covers, they were feats of stop-motion animation and inventive editing. He would cut a video of himself playing a single note on a guitar thousands of times, stitching them together to create a melody. He used everyday objects, cans, pencils, furniture, to create percussion. The looping effect, where he would clone himself multiple times on screen to play different instruments, was mind-blowing at the time. It showed us that video editing was an instrument in itself. We tuned in to see how he would deconstruct the medium next. The sunglasses, the deadpan expression, and the frantic, precise editing created a style that was undeniably cool, proving that with enough patience and a camera, you could be a one-man band. Number 45 is Keyboard Cat. Long before it was uploaded to YouTube, the footage of Fatso the cat, wearing a blue shirt and pounding on an electronic keyboard, was recorded on VHS in the 1980s. When it finally hit the web, it became the perfect punctuation mark for failure. The grainy, analog quality of the video, the washed-out colors, and the upbeat, slightly off-key tune created a masterpiece of absurdity. The video was rarely watched on its own. Instead, it was spliced onto the end of other videos. If someone fell off a skateboard, crashed a bike, or made a mistake during a speech, the footage would cut to the cat playing them off stage. It was the vaudeville hook of the digital age. The cat's expression, blank and focused, combined with the jaunty music, softened the blow of the failure. It turned pain into comedy. It was a reminder that no matter how bad your day was or how hard you fell, there was a cat in a blue shirt playing a song just for you. Number 46 is The Double Rainbow. In a medium often dominated by manufactured drama, Paul Vasquez, filming from his front yard just outside of Yosemite National Park, gave us a moment of transcendent, spiritual awe. The video is nothing but a camera pointed at the sky, capturing a rare meteorological phenomenon. But the audio is what captivated the world. We listen to a man overwhelmed by beauty. His voice cracked with emotion, moving from laughter to tears as he asked, "What does it mean?" He marveled at the intensity, the brightness, and the sheer glory of the sight. It was raw, unfiltered vulnerability. He wasn't performing for an audience, he was witnessing the sublime. Phrases like "all the way," "across the sky," and "so intense" were quoted endlessly. But beneath the memes, there was a genuine appreciation for his joy. It was a video that stripped away our cynicism. For 3 minutes, we stood in his shoes, looking up at the sky, remembering how to be amazed by the natural world. Number 47 is the literal video version. This genre was a form of meta-commentary that deconstructed the absurdity of 1980s and 90s music videos. Creators would take a classic video like "Total Eclipse of the Heart" or "Take on Me" and record new lyrics that described exactly what was happening on screen in a literal, deadpan manner. If the singer was walking through a door, the new lyrics would sing, "I am walking through a door." It highlighted the bizarre, often nonsensical visual tropes of the music industry: the random doves, the unnecessary wind machines, the dramatic stares. It was a celebration of the visual language of the past, remixing it with the snarky, observational humor of the present. The skill involved was impressive. The new lyrics had to match the original melody and rhyme scheme while strictly describing the visuals. It made us watch these familiar videos with fresh eyes, laughing at the surrealism we had always accepted as normal. Number 48 is the annoying orange. There was a period where the most famous face on the internet was a piece of fruit with human eyes and a human mouth superimposed upon it. Created by Dane Bodigheimer, the annoying orange was a masterclass in persistence and puns. The aesthetic was unique: the kitchen counter background, the crude compositing of the actor's face onto the orange, and the high-pitched, piercing laugh. The humor relied on repetition. The orange would pester other fruits, an apple, a pear, a passion fruit, with bad jokes and noises, until the inevitable, violent end when the other fruit was sliced with a knife. It was a polarizing phenomenon. For some, it was grating. For others, it was the pinnacle of comedy. It tapped into a very specific, childish desire to be a nuisance. The catchphrase, "Hey Apple," became a playground mantra. It was simple, violent, and loud, a perfect distillation of the chaotic energy that appealed to the growing younger demographic of the site. Number 49 is animator versus animation. This flash animation by Alan Becker tapped into a universal fantasy. What if the computer fought back? We watched a meticulously animated desktop interface, looking exactly like the Windows XP or macOS screens we were using. A stick figure, drawn by the user, would suddenly gain sentience and rebel against the cursor. The battle that ensued was a creative tour de force. The stick figure would use the brush tool as a weapon, hide behind icons, and tear apart the toolbars. It was a love letter to the software we used every day. We recognized the sounds, the clicks, the error messages, the trash can emptying. It blurred the line between the video player and the operating system. Watching it felt like watching a secret life unfolding inside our monitors. It was clever, fast-paced, and devoid of dialogue, relying entirely on visual storytelling and our shared familiarity with the digital workspace. Number 50 is the symphony of science. In a beautiful convergence of education and auto-tune, John D. Boswell created A Glorious Dawn. He took archival footage of Carl Sagan from the 1980 series Cosmos, along with clips of Stephen Hawking, and pitch-corrected their spoken words to create a soaring electronic melody. The result was unexpectedly moving. Hearing Sagan's profound monologues about the universe, the stars, and the billions and billions of galaxies turned into a chorus was a spiritual experience for science lovers. It made the vastness of space feel intimate and melodic. The video was a tribute to curiosity. It took the dry, academic aesthetic of public television and remixed it into something modern and accessible. It proved that auto-tune, often maligned as a tool for talentless pop stars, could be used to elevate the most important ideas humanity has ever expressed. It was nostalgia for the future, a song about the stars sung by the ghosts of our greatest teachers. Number 51 is the Cinnamon Challenge. Before internet challenges were dangerous feats performed for algorithmic clout, they were simple, foolish experiments performed in kitchens. The premise was deceptively easy. Swallow a spoonful of ground cinnamon without water in under 60 seconds. We watched thousands of people attempt this, from teenagers in school cafeterias to adults at dinner parties. The result was always the same and always visually striking. The moment the powder hit the throat, the body's rejection was instantaneous. A dragon-like cloud of brown dust would erupt from the participant's mouth, accompanied by gasping, coughing, and red-faced regret. It was a communal experiment in physics and biology. We learned together that cinnamon is hydrophobic, repelling water and drying out the mouth instantly. The videos were often chaotic, filled with the laughter of friends holding the camera, capturing the exact second hubris turned into distress. It was a harmless, if messy, rite of passage that proved we were all willing to suffer slightly just to be part of a shared joke. Number 52 is the Downfall parody. For a span of several years, a serious German historical drama about the final days of the Third Reich was transformed into a canvas for modern grievances. The scene was always the same: a shaking, furious dictator in a bunker, surrounded by worried generals. However, the subtitles told a different story. In the world of the meme, he wasn't losing the war. He was reacting to his favorite football team losing, or finding out that the new iPad had no USB port, or discovering that his World of Warcraft account had been banned. The juxtaposition of the actor's intense, frothing performance with the trivial, mundane complaints of the subtitles was comedic gold. It was a template that anyone could use. It allowed us to project our own petty frustrations onto the most dramatic canvas possible. It showed the internet's unique ability to strip context from media, turning a moment of historical tragedy into a universal template for venting about pop culture and consumer technology. Number 53 is Jenna Marbles. In 2010, a video titled "How to Trick People into Thinking You're Good Looking" appeared, introducing us to a new kind of internet celebrity. Jenna Mori sat in her room, not with the polished perfection of a beauty guru, but with the chaotic energy of a friend getting ready for a night out. She aggressively applied makeup, teased her hair, and spoke with a sarcasm that cut through the vanity of the platform. She was relatable. She didn't sell us a fantasy of perfection. She showed us the messy, humorous reality of trying to meet societal standards. Her presence felt like a rejection of the fake internet. She spoke directly to the camera, often with her dogs wandering in the background, creating an atmosphere of intimacy. She became the big sister of the internet, teaching us that it was okay to be weird, loud, and unpolished, as long as you could laugh at yourself while doing it. Number 54 is the Duck Song. There is a simple, repetitive piano melody that, once heard, can never be fully unlearned. It accompanies a crudely drawn animation of a duck walking up to a lemonade stand. The interaction is a lesson in persistence and annoyance. "Got any grapes?" the duck asks, day after day, driving the man running the stand to the brink of insanity. It was a digital nursery rhyme. The humour lay in the innocent trolling of the duck and the catchy, waddling rhythm of the song. It was innocent, safe, and inexplicably viral. Children and adults alike hummed the tune. It harkened back to a style of humour that wasn't edgy or shocking, but simply pleasant and repetitive. It was a campfire song for the digital village, a shared earworm that we all tolerated with a smile, secretly waiting for the punchline where the duck finally asks for lemonade, only to realise he doesn't want it. Number 55 is Ray William Johnson and Equals 3. Before the React meta took over, there was one man standing in front of a comic book wallpaper, reviewing the viral videos of the week. The show, titled simply with the symbol for a heart, was the pulse of the platform. He acted as a curator for the internet. If he reviewed a video, that video became famous. The format was fast-paced, filled with jump cuts, transition graphics of a flying squirrel, and a distinct, often crude, commentary style. He utilized a fake audience laugh track that became his signature. For millions of viewers, he was the nightly news anchor of the web. He synthesized the chaos of user-generated content into a digestible 10-minute package. Watching him was a ritual. He provided the context and the jokes that we would repeat at school the next day, serving as the bridge between the weird corners of YouTube and the mainstream audience. Number 56 is Epic Mealtime. At the turn of the decade, subtlety was replaced by excess. A group of men, led by the gravel-voiced Harley Morenstein, decided that cooking shows were too polite. They created a caloric nightmare of bacon, Jack Daniels, and aggression. The camera work was shaky, the editing was frantic, and the food was monstrous. They built lasagna out of fast food burgers. They stuffed birds inside of other birds. They wove bacon strips into mats. A calorie counter in the corner of the screen ticked up into the tens of thousands, treating heart disease like a high score. It was a celebration of gluttony and masculinity. They didn't just cook, they conquered the food. It reflected a time when the internet was obsessed with winning, with taking things to the extreme limit. It was loud, messy, and unapologetically wasteful. A heavy metal concert performed with ground beef and deep fryers. Number 57 is the I Like Trains kid. Emerging from the chaotic sketch comedy series Asdaf Movie, this stick figure character became a minimalist icon. The humor was random, rapid fire, and devoid of context. The character would simply appear, state his catchphrase with a deadpan expression, and be immediately run over by a speeding train. It was the height of lol random humor. The animation was incredibly simple, black lines on a white background, which meant the timing had to be perfect. It was a meme that lived in the abruptness. There was no setup, only the punchline. It appealed to the short attention spans of the digital native. The phrase, "I like trains," became a verbal interrupt in real-world conversations, a way to signal that you were part of the in-group who understood this specific brand of nonsensical, violent, stick figure comedy. Number 58 is Nigger Higa's How to Be Ninja. Ryan Higa represented the golden age of the sketch comedy vlog. His videos, often filmed in his parents' house with his friends, utilized a low-budget ingenuity that was incredibly charming. In How to Be Ninja, the jokes were visual and pun-based. He wore an oversized t-shirt tied around his head as a mask. He blended into the wall by holding a piece of cardboard painted the same color. It was the kind of creativity born of boredom. It felt like the games you played with your friends during a sleepover, but captured and edited with surprising rhythmic precision. He didn't rely on shock value, he relied on cleverness and wordplay. He was the quiet kid who turned out to be the funniest person in the room. His videos were a testament to the idea that you didn't need a budget to build a world. You just needed a camera and a willingness to look silly in your backyard. Number 59 is it a good idea to microwave this? There was a scientific curiosity to the destruction on early YouTube. A show hosted by Jorian Riley turned the kitchen appliance into a test chamber. They placed everything from airbags to light bulbs to champagne bottles inside a microwave, set the timer, and hid behind a makeshift plexiglass shield. The show had a gritty, garage broadcast aesthetic. We watched for the plasma balls, the sparks, and the inevitable explosions. The host's commentary was dry and informative, analyzing the destruction like researchers in a post-apocalyptic lab. It was a vicarious thrill. We all knew we shouldn't put metal in the microwave, but they did it for us. The tinfoil shield they used for protection became a running gag, a symbol of their flimsy safety measures. It was content that scratched the itch of the forbidden, allowing us to witness the chaotic physics of domestic appliances pushed past their breaking point. Number 60 is Marble Hornets. Before mainstream horror movies adopted the screen life aesthetic, a channel emerged that terrified the internet using nothing but silence and text cards. It was an alternate reality game, or ARG, based on the Slender Man mythos. The videos were presented as raw, unedited tapes recovered from a friend who had gone mad. The horror was in what you couldn't see. We spent hours scanning the grainy footage of playgrounds and forests, looking for the tall, faceless figure standing in the background. The audio distortion, the sharp tear in the sound whenever the entity was near, became a Pavlovian trigger for fear. It was storytelling that required the audience to be detectives. We dissected every frame in forum threads, piecing together the narrative. It proved that the low fidelity of YouTube was an asset for horror. The blurriness made the monsters real. It felt like we were watching something we weren't supposed to see, a cursed tape that had found its way onto our screens. Number 61 is the FPS Russia channel. There was a time when the internet's weapons expert was a man with a fake accent standing in a muddy field in Georgia. Kyle Myers played the character of Dmitry, a professional Russian with a commitment that bordered on method acting. He wore aviator sunglasses and tight t-shirts, ending every video with the catchphrase, "And as always, have nice day." We watched him wield military-grade hardware, automatic shotguns, tanks, and anti-aircraft guns, against innocent watermelons and bottles of soda. The appeal was the sheer, destructive spectacle. It was like watching a video game come to life. The audio was dominated by the deafening cracks of gunfire and the dull thud of explosives, mixing with his deadpan, monotone delivery. He represented a specific era of unboxing culture, where the object being unboxed could level a building. It was entertainment that felt slightly illicit, a window into a world of firepower that most of us would never see, presented by a host who treated high explosives with the casual indifference of someone opening a bag of chips. Number 62 is the Harlem Shake trend. In early 2013, the entire structure of the viral video changed. Suddenly, viral didn't mean watching a single clip, it meant participating in a format. The rules were rigid and universally understood. A 15-second clip set to a specific drop by Bauer. The first half featured a single person, often masked, dancing in a room full of people who were ignoring them. When the bass dropped, a jump cut occurred. Suddenly, the room was chaos. Everyone was in costume, shaking, thrashing, and performing bizarre actions. It was a flash mob for the digital age. It was short, easy to produce, and allowed for infinite creativity within a strict template. Offices, military platoons, and college dorms all made their versions. It was the moment the internet became a synchronized swimmer, performing the same routine across thousands of channels simultaneously. It marked the shift from passive consumption to active remixing, where the audience became the content. Number 63 is the Gangnam Style view counter. We all watched the numbers climb. It became a spectator sport. Psy, a South Korean rapper in a bright blue tuxedo, did a horse riding dance that shattered the ceiling of what was thought possible on the platform. The video was a technicolor explosion of satire and joy, transcending language barriers through the universal language of a catchy beat and a funny dance. But the nostalgia lies in the technical breaking point. The video was so popular that it broke YouTube's view counter, which was programmed as a 32-bit integer. It exceeded 2 billion views, forcing Google to rewrite their code. Watching that counter spin was witnessing a historical event. It was the moment the internet officially overtook television as the world's primary stage. We weren't just watching a music video, we were watching the globalization of culture in real time, united by a man shouting at a sexy lady in a sauna. Number 64 is the first night in Minecraft. Before Minecraft was a billion-dollar franchise with merchandise in every department store, it was a quiet, lonely indie game that lived on YouTube. The early Let's Play videos captured a very specific mood, the fear of the first night. We watched creators like X or the Yogscast spawn into a blocky, low-resolution world with no instructions. The sun would begin to set, the square moon would rise, and the groans of zombies would start. There was a primal tension in watching the player frantically punch trees to build a dirt hut for shelter. The videos were often dark, lit only by the faint orange glow of a torch. The silence of the game, punctuated by the soft piano soundtrack by C418, created an atmosphere of isolation and discovery. We learned the crafting recipes together, sharing the secret knowledge of how to make a pickaxe like it was ancient wisdom. It was a shared journey into a brave new world of voxels. Number 65 is Boxy. In 2009, a storm arrived in the form of a teenage girl with heavy eyeliner and a high-energy, rambling monologue. "My name is Boxy," she said, and the internet fractured. Her videos were fast, frantic, and seemingly about nothing. She spoke at a velocity that made it hard to breathe, jumping from topic to topic. But her impact was not about her content. It was about the reaction. She became the catalyst for a digital civil war on the image board 4chan, dividing users into factions of lovers and haters. She was the first true e-girl, a prototype for the personality-driven content that would come later. Her video quality was grainy, the lighting was poor, but her charisma was undeniable. She represented the chaotic, often toxic obsession of the early internet, where a random teenager could become a deity and a villain overnight, simply by turning on a webcam and being hyperactive. Number 66 is the Mentos and Diet Coke geyser. It was the science experiment that defined a generation. The video by EP Bird was elegant in its simplicity. Two men in lab coats, a line of soda bottles, and a pocket full of mints. It was performance art. They dropped the candy, and the fountains erupted in perfect synchronization, spraying sticky brown foam 20 feet into the air. It was a ballet of carbonation. There was no CGI, no trickery. It was just physics and chemistry, reacting in a way that felt like magic. We all went out to our driveways to try it ourselves, leaving sticky stains on the pavement. It represented the do-try-this-at-home spirit of early YouTube. It was content that bridged the gap between the screen and the real world, turning every grocery store candy aisle into a potential laboratory. The sound of the fizz and the visual of the geyser are the symbols of a time when we were easily impressed by the wonders of nucleation. Number 67 is the Trololo guy. Eduard Kill, a Soviet-era baritone singer, found a second life decades after his career ended. The video was a clip from a 1976 television performance. The set was mustard yellow, his suit was brown, and his smile was frozen and unnerving. But the song, a wordless vocalized melody, was hypnotic. Trollolololo, he sang, strolling across the stage with an exaggerated swagger. It was an artifact from a different time and place, devoid of its original context, which made it perfect for the abstract humor of the web. It was joyous yet strange, a meme that relied on the sheer uncanny valley of his expression. We shared it because it was baffling. It was a reminder that the internet was a vast archive where nothing was ever truly lost, and a forgotten performance from the Cold War could suddenly become the ringtone of a teenager in Ohio. Number 68 is The Impossible Game. There was a genre of video that was simply about watching someone suffer. The Impossible Game was a minimal platformer, an orange square jumping over black spikes. The music was a driving techno beat that looped endlessly. We watched YouTubers rage. The rage quit became a genre of performance art. We listened to the repetitive thwack of the square hitting a spike, followed by the groan of the player, followed by the immediate restart of the level and the music. It was a test of sanity. The game was simple, but the emotional journey of the player, from hope to frustration to apoplectic anger, was complex. We watched to feel better about our own lack of patience. It was the dawn of salty gaming content, where the entertainment value lay not in the skill of the player, but in their emotional breakdown in the face of unfair digital geometry. Number 69 is Fenton. In Richmond Park, London, a man filmed a deer stampede, but the focus was not on the animals. It was on the distant, desperate silhouette of a dog owner chasing his wayward black Labrador. The audio is a masterclass in escalating panic. "Jesus Christ, Fenton!" the man screams, his voice breaking as the dog herds the deer across the road, disrupting traffic and causing chaos. It was a real-life slapstick comedy. The shaky camera work, the foggy British weather, and the sheer helplessness of the owner resonated with anyone who has ever lost control of a situation. It wasn't a skit, it was a documentary of a bad day. The name Fenton became a shorthand for disobedience. It was a viral hit that felt grounded and human, a reminder that nature and dogs refuse to follow the script, no matter how loudly you yell at them. Number 70 is Nyan Cat. It is a loop that could theoretically go on forever. A pixelated grey cat with the body of a pink Pop-Tart flies through space, leaving a trail of rainbows behind it. The music is a Japanese Vocaloid song, Nyan 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 Nyan, a relentless, high-pitched repetition that burrows into the brainstem. It was the ultimate test of endurance. There were websites dedicated to tracking how long you'd kept the tab open. It was the mascot of the internet's absurdity. It combined cats, space, rainbows, and annoying music, the four pillars of web culture. It wasn't trying to say anything, it just was. It existed to be cute and annoying in equal measure. Seeing that rainbow trail was a visual signal of the kawaii aesthetic taking over the Western web. It was a piece of digital pop art that required zero context to understand, just a willingness to surrender to the loop. Number 71 is the Smosh Food Battle. In the pantheon of YouTube traditions, this annual event was a holiday in itself. Ian Hecox and Anthony Padilla, the kings of the platform's comedy era, established a simple yet captivating premise. Choose a favorite food and argue for its superiority through a series of increasingly absurd and violent sketches. Whether it was the pink frosted sprinkled donut or the celery stick, the food items became characters in their own right. We waited all year for these uploads. They represented the peak of buddy comedy on the internet. The humor was slapstick, often involving people getting hit in the face or falling down, but the chemistry was undeniable. Watching a food battle was like watching a Saturday morning cartoon that had been made specifically for you and your friends. It captured the essence of teenage debates, pointless, passionate, and ending in chaos. It was a time when the biggest question on the internet was not about politics or drama, but simply which snack is better. Number 72 is drinking out of cups. This video is a masterpiece of stream of consciousness surrealism. It features nothing but a static image of a lizard and a rambling, incoherent, yet strangely poetic monologue by musician Dan Deacon. The audio sounds like a transmission from a fever dream. Phrases like, "not my chair, not my problem," and "seahorse, sea hell" were spoken with a thick, Long Island accent, drifting between aggression and confusion. We listened to it in awe, trying to decipher the logic. Was it a prank call? Was it someone talking in their sleep? The visuals were irrelevant. The video lived entirely in the audio texture. It became a script for the weird kids in the back of the class, a collection of non sequiturs that functioned as a secret handshake. It proved that on the early web, you didn't need high production value or even a moving image. You just needed a voice and a bizarre imagination to capture the world's attention. Number 73 is taking the hobbits to Isengard. Before remix culture was a polished industry, it was a repetitive, hypnotic loop. This video took a single line of dialogue spoken by Orlando Bloom in The Lord of the Rings and set it to a pounding, high-energy techno beat. The result was an earworm of epic proportions. Their taking the hobbits to Isengard was repeated ad infinitum, accompanied by the rhythmical nodding of the characters. It was a celebration of the loop. We would leave the video playing in the background for hours, letting the trance music wash over us. It was a pivotal moment in fandom history, where a serious, dramatic film was repurposed into a dance floor anthem. It showed us that the internet could take the most solemn pop culture artifacts and turn them into something silly and repetitive. It was the sound of the early 2000s LAN party, a digital chart that united fantasy nerds and techno fans under one banner. Number 74 is Rejected by Don Hertzfeldt. Originally a festival film, this collection of crude, hand-drawn cartoons found its true home on YouTube, where its absurdist humor resonated perfectly with the digital generation. The animation was intentionally shaky, drawn on crinkled paper, giving it a tactile, trashy feel. The characters were stick figures who spoke in non sequiturs that became legendary. "My spoon is too big," and "I am a banana" were shouted across school cafeterias everywhere. The video framed itself as a series of rejected commercials for a fictional television network, adding a layer of meta-commentary about corporate censorship. It was dark, weird, and hilarious. It introduced millions of young people to the world of avant-garde animation. Watching it felt like discovering a sketchbook found in an asylum. It was a rejection of the polished Disney aesthetic, embracing the wobbly, the weird, and the terrifyingly funny, proving that a stick figure bleeding from its eyes could be high art. Number 75 is Afro Ninja. In the taxonomy of the fail video, this clip is the holotype. It captures a martial artist, Mark Hicks, attempting a flashy backflip during an audition tape. The setup is serious. The nunchucks spin. The focus is intense. Then comes the jump and the sickening thud of a face hitting the floor. But the true tragedy and the comedy is in the recovery. He attempts to stand up and continue the routine, stumbling around in a daze, fighting his own concussion to maintain his dignity. It is a painful, visceral minute of footage. We winced, but we couldn't look away. It was one of the first videos to demonstrate the internet's lack of empathy. We laughed at the failure because it broke the tension of the performance. It remains a stark reminder of the physical reality behind the screen, that gravity is undefeated, and that the difference between a cool trick and a viral fail is often just a few inches of rotation. Number 76 is Power Thirst. As a parody of the hyper-aggressive marketing used by energy drink companies, this video by the sketch group Picnic Face was an assault on the senses. The narration was screamed at maximum volume, a breathless barrage of absurdity. 400 babies! Kenyan runners! Shock alert! The editing was frantic, cutting between stock photos and text at a seizure-inducing pace. It captured the extreme aesthetic of the mid-2000s and turned it up to 11. It was a critique of masculinity and consumerism disguised as a chaotic comedy sketch. We memorized the script because it felt like a tongue twister. It was the kind of video that you had to turn your volume down for, lest your parents think you were being yelled at. It defined a specific style of internet humor, loud, fast, and aggressively nonsensical, mirroring the sugar rush of the very product it was mocking. Number 77 is unforgivable. In the woods, a man recounts a story of betrayal involving a girl and some waffle fries. The video, featuring the character Gonzo, was shot on a low-quality camcorder, giving it the feeling of a found-footage documentary. The dialogue was a masterclass in slang and delivery. "Bitch, you ain't no nerd," and "Get me a chicken sandwich and some waffle fries" became instant catchphrases. The lighting was poor, the audio was filled with wind noise, but the storytelling was magnetic. It felt like eavesdropping on a private conversation between friends. It was crude and politically incorrect, a product of its time, but it spread like wildfire because of its authenticity. It wasn't scripted by a team of writers. It was just a guy in the woods with a distinct voice and a grievance about fast food. It reminded us that the funniest people weren't on TV. They were in our neighborhoods, telling stories to a camera lens. Number 78 is The Laughing Baby. Not to be confused with Charlie, this video, often titled simply Ha Ha Ha, featured a blonde Swedish baby named William. The premise was incredibly simple. The father would make a funny noise or rip a piece of paper, and the baby would dissolve into pure, unadulterated laughter. It was a sound of such genuine joy that it was impossible not to smile. The video was often forwarded in email chains before it found its permanent home on YouTube. It served as a palate cleanser for the internet. After watching scares, fails, and arguments, you could return to The Laughing Baby to restore your faith in humanity. It captured the universal language of happiness. There were no subtitles needed, no context required. It was a biological trigger. Hearing that infectious, bubbling laughter reminded us of the simple pleasures of existence, long before we became cynical users of a complex digital network. Number 79 is Clay World. Robert Benfer created a universe populated by blue and red lumps of clay that communicated in mumbled, often unintelligible voices. These stop-motion animations were a staple of early YouTube. They were violent, often ending in the clay figures being squashed, eaten, or exploded. But the violence was slapstick and harmless because of the medium. The table video, where a character simply discovers a table, is a prime example of the minimalist humor. The production value was intentionally low. You could often see the animator's fingerprints on the characters. It felt like something you could make on your bedroom floor on a rainy Saturday. It inspired a wave of young animators to buy modeling clay and webcams. It was a world where logic didn't apply, where a character could pull a rocket launcher out of thin air, and where the punchline was almost always a sudden, squelchy death. Number 80 is the 16:9 aspect ratio shift. This is not a video, but a memory of the frame itself. For the first few years, YouTube was a 4:3 square world, mimicking the shape of old television sets. Then came the transition to widescreen. For a long period, this created a visual friction known as pillar boxing, where black bars would appear on the sides of older videos, or window boxing, where a video would be surrounded by black on all four sides. It was the growing pains of the high-definition era. We remember the widescreen button that briefly existed, allowing us to stretch the player. Watching the black bars disappear felt like the future arriving. It changed the way creators framed their shots. They no longer had to huddle in the center of the screen. They could use the negative space. It was the moment YouTube stopped looking like a home video archive and started looking like a cinema, marking the end of the square, cozy window we had peered through for years. Number 81 is the dramatic chipmunk. In the lexicon of internet brevity, this 5-second clip is a masterclass in timing. It is not a chipmunk, of course, but a prairie dog, ripped from a Japanese television show, yet the taxonomy mattered little to the millions who watched it. The video consists of 3 distinct beats: the animal turning its head, the sudden zoom of the camera, and the orchestral sting of the music, sourced from the soundtrack of Young Frankenstein. It was the ultimate reaction GIF before GIFs were the primary language of the web. It captured a feeling of sudden, melodramatic realization that we all experience but rarely have the soundtrack for. The graininess of the footage, the washed-out colors, and the intense, piercing stare of the animal created a perfect storm of comedy. It was a punchline without a setup, a flexible tool that could be appended to the end of any other video to add a layer of suspenseful absurdity. It remains a symbol of the micro-video era, proving that you don't need a narrative to make the world laugh. You just need a zoom lens and a rodent. Number 82 is Techno Viking. There is a mythical quality to this video, captured on the streets of Berlin during the Fuck Parade in the year 2000, but living eternally on YouTube. The footage is raw, shaky, and documentary style. It begins with chaos, a dancer bumping into a woman, until a towering, shirtless figure with a Thor's hammer pendant steps into the frame. He seizes the aggressor's arms, points a stern, warning finger, and restores order without speaking a word. Then, as the techno bass kicks in, he begins to march. The water bottle handoff, performed upside down, remains one of the smoothest interactions in human history. We watched him with genuine awe. He was an unstoppable force of rhythm and justice. The video became a legend not just for the dance, but for the subsequent legal battles and the mystery of the man's identity. He was an internet superhero, a symbol of the raw, uncurated energy of the street, captured by chance and elevated to the status of a digital deity, forever marching down that grey Berlin street. Number 83 is Leroy Jenkins. While this originated within the game World of Warcraft, its cultural home was the video player. We watched the tactical planning screen, listening to the nerdy, serious voices of a guild calculating the survival odds of the upcoming battle. The audio quality was tinny, filled with the static of early voice-over IP software. The tension was palpable as they discussed strategy in agonizing detail. Then came the shout. "All right, time's up, let's do this," followed by the battle cry that echoed around the world. The sheer chaos that ensued, the rushing into the Dragon Whelp room, the panicked screams of his teammates, and the total annihilation of the group was a tragedy played for laughs. Whether staged or real, it captured the clash between the serious, methodical gamer and the agent of pure chaos. The closing line, "At least I have chicken," delivered with a mouthful of food, is the epitaph of the early internet troll, a reminder that sometimes ruin is more entertaining than success. Number 84 is He-Man Sings. In a perfect example of remix culture, the animators at Slack Circus took a masculinity icon of the 1980s and softened him into a disco diva. They took footage from Masters of the Universe and synced it perfectly to the Four Non-Blondes hit, What's Up? The result was mesmerizing. To see He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, throw his head back and bellow, "And I say, hey, yay, 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 was to witness a dismantling of childhood heroes. The addition of the glittery rainbow background during the chorus transformed the sword and sorcery aesthetic into a fabulous, campy music video. It was a loop that you could listen to for hours. The lip syncing was uncannily accurate, making it feel as though the song had been written for the character. It was joyous, bright, and overwhelmingly positive. A meme that stripped the aggression out of an action cartoon and replaced it with a falsetto anthem of confusion and hope. Number 85 is Sht Girls Say. In 2011, a Twitter account evolved into a video series that defined a new format of observational comedy. Graydon Shepherd, wearing a messy brunette wig, rattled off a rapid-fire list of stereotypical phrases and questions. Could you pass me that blanket? I'm so cold. Can you take a picture of us? The editing was the star of the show. Cuts were jarring and fast, jumping between locations, the car, the couch, the bathroom, creating a frantic collage of behavior. It sparked a massive trend of Sht Says videos, where every subculture, profession, and demographic got their own version. It was a moment of collective self-reflection. We laughed because we recognized the phrases, either in our friends or in ourselves. It was a mirror held up to the mundane repetition of daily conversation, proving that our quirks were not unique, but shared patterns of speech that, when compiled together, sounded like a hilarious, disjointed poem. Number 86 is Rebecca Black's Friday. It is difficult to overstate the magnitude of this music video. It wasn't just a viral hit, it was a global event. The video, produced by the vanity label Arc Music Factory, featured a 13-year-old girl singing about the sequence of the days of the week with heavy auto-tune. The production was glossy yet amateur, featuring awkward rapping about school buses and which seat to take. It became the most disliked video in history for a time. Yet, beneath the mockery, there was a strange fascination. We all watched it. We all sang the chorus. Fun, 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 fun became a mantra. It represented the dark side of internet fame, where a child could become a punching bag for the world's cynicism. However, it also marked a shift in how we consumed bad media. Didn't turn it off. We consumed it communally, dissecting every frame, until the irony circled back around and it became a genuine piece of nostalgic pop culture history. Number 87 is Julian Smith's Malk. In the late 2000s, sketch comedy on YouTube began to look surprisingly professional. Julian Smith brought a cinematic quality to his videos, using better lighting and cameras than most of his peers. The Malk sketch is a study in escalation. It takes a simple dinner table disagreement, a man wanting a glass of milk, and spirals it into a dark, intense psychological thriller. The pronunciation of the word milk as Malk or Mulk became the center of a heated, shouting debate. The lighting was moody, the acting was intentionally over the top, and the inclusion of a gun in a kitchen argument was shocking and hilarious. It captured the specific frustration of a semantic argument. It was quotable, weird, and visually distinct. Now with Vitamin R became a playground joke. It showed that YouTube comedy was evolving from guys in bedrooms to scripted, directed short films that still retained the absurd, unpolished soul of the web. Number 88 is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Amidst the loud, screaming energy of viral videos, Jenny Slate and Dean Fleischer Camp introduced us to a character of profound quietness. Marcel was a tiny shell with a single googly eye and a pair of miniature shoes. The video felt like a documentary of the microscopic. Marcel spoke in a soft, trembling voice about his life, using a lint ball as a dog, using a Dorito as a hang glider. The humor was gentle and whimsical. "Compare your life to mine and then kill yourself," he joked darkly, contrasting his small stature with the viewer's size. The aesthetic was macro photography, focusing on the dust and texture of a regular apartment floor. It was a warm blanket of a video. It didn't demand your attention, it invited you to lean in and listen. It proved that in an ecosystem of noise, a whisper could be the most powerful sound of all. Number 89 is the Draw My Life trend. For a few months, every major creator on the platform bought a whiteboard and a dry erase marker. This trend was a mass confessional. The format was strict. You narrated your life story from birth to the present, while hand-drawing stick figure illustrations that were sped up in post-production. The sound of the marker squeaking against the board and the sight of the eraser wiping away scenes became a hypnotic visual motif. What made this trend significant was the vulnerability. Creators who were known for comedy or gaming suddenly opened up about bullying, divorce, depression, and struggle. It shattered the parasocial barrier. It humanized the avatars we watched every day. Watching the black ink form the narrative of a life, only to be wiped away for the next chapter, was a poignant reminder of the passage of time. It bonded the community in a way few trends ever had, turning the platform into a collective therapy session. Number 90 is Epic Sax Guy. During the 2010 Eurovision Song Contest, the Moldovan entry, Sunstroke Project, took the stage. But the singer was not the focus. The camera found the saxophonist, Sergei Stepanov, wearing sunglasses and moving with a rhythmic, hip-thrusting intensity that defied physics. The loop of his saxophone solo, a catchy, high-energy dance riff, was isolated and uploaded to YouTube. It became the soundtrack for everything. You could find 10-hour versions of the loop. It was pure, distilled energy. The neon lights of the stage, the confident swagger of the performance, and the infectious nature of the melody made it the ultimate background noise for gaming or studying. It was a meme that celebrated confidence. It didn't matter what song they were playing. It only mattered that the man with the saxophone was playing it with every ounce of his soul. It remains the eternal fanfare of the internet's party era. Number 91 is Epic Rap Battles of History. What began as a silly improvisation between two friends, Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, evolved into a high-budget educational juggernaut. The premise was absurd yet brilliant. Pit historical figures against one another in a lyrical debate. We watched Darth Vader rap against Adolf Hitler, or Albert Einstein trade insults with Stephen Hawking. The production value grew with every season, moving from simple green screens to elaborate costumes and makeup. It was the ultimate nerd content, rewarding knowledge of history and pop culture. The rhymes were dense, filled with double entendres and obscure references that required repeated viewings to fully catch. It turned history class into a spectator sport. The question, "Who won? You decide," invited us into the comments section to debate the flow and the bars. It was a bridge between the educational and the entertaining, proving that the internet could be smart, rhythmic, and incredibly silly all at the same time. Number 92 is the Gummy Bear song. In the mid-2000s, a bright green gelatinous bear wearing underwear waddled onto our screens and refused to leave. The animation was soft and rubbery, characteristic of early CGI that hovered between cute and slightly unsettling. The song itself was a Euro dance track designed to be a ringtone, and indeed, it rang out from the flip phones of teenagers everywhere. "I am a gummy bear," the creature sang in a high-pitched, pitch-shifted voice, shaking its hips. It was a global phenomenon, translated into dozens of languages, proving the universality of annoying, catchy music. It represented the era of the viral character, a mascot created solely to be shared and sold. Unlike the accidental fame of home videos, this was a manufactured earworm, a piece of digital candy that was sugary, artificial, and impossible to consume just once. Number 93 is planking. For a brief, strange summer, the internet became obsessed with plank rigidity. The challenge was to lie face down, arms at your sides, body stiff as a board, in the most unusual location possible. We saw photos and videos of people planking on police cars, on top of basketball hoops, and across escalators. It was a trend defined by its stillness. In a medium defined by movement and noise, planking was a performance of silence. It was the physical embodiment of a meme, an image that required context to be funny. It was also controversial, leading to injuries and warnings from officials, which only fueled the fire. It was a collective game of statue played on a global scale. It showed us that a trend didn't need to be talented or clever, it just had to be doable. Anyone could lie down, and so everyone did. Number 94 is Freddie W and Rocket Jump. Freddie Du, led by Freddie Wong, brought Hollywood-level visual effects to the YouTube homepage. Before this channel, action on YouTube meant shaky camcorder footage of backyard wrestling. Freddie changed the game. He produced shorts like Aimbot and Cardboard Warfare that featured digital muzzle flashes, explosions, and complex compositing that rivaled blockbuster films. It was the democratization of the blockbuster. He showed that you didn't need a studio system to make an action movie. You just needed a PC and After Effects. The videos were filled with video game logic and humor, appealing directly to the gamer demographic. It raised the bar for everyone. Suddenly, production value mattered. It marked the transition from the home video era to the creator era, where YouTubers began to look less like amateurs and more like independent filmmakers building their own studios. Number 95 is the React channel. The Fine brothers formalized the concept of watching people watch things. The format was visually clinical. A white background, a subject sitting in a chair, and a laptop. Whether it was kids react to old computers or elders react to dubstep, the show acted as a generational mirror. We watched the confusion on children's faces as they tried to use a Walkman, or the horror on grandparents' faces as they watched violent video games. It was a time capsule of technology and culture. It highlighted how quickly the world was moving. The React format became so dominant that it eventually sparked a massive controversy when they attempted to trademark the concept, leading to a community revolt. But in its prime, it was a way to process the speed of the internet, validating our own nostalgia by seeing the youth confused by the artifacts of our past. Number 96 is Philip DeFranco. For over a decade, a generation got their news not from CNN or the BBC, but from a guy in a bedroom speaking at breakneck speed. Known as X-Cephal, he pioneered the jump cut heavy news vlogging style. He would break down the day's events, from celebrity gossip to serious global politics, with a rapid-fire delivery that eliminated all dead air. He started every video with, "Sup you beautiful bastards," and ended with a question of the day. He built a nation of viewers. He represented the shift of trust from institutions to individuals. We trusted Phil because he felt like one of us, a guy looking at the internet, confused and opinionated. He didn't wear a suit, he wore a t-shirt. His channel was the coffee shop discussion of the digital age, a place where the news was filtered through the lens of a normal person. Number 97 is the Google Plus integration. In 2013, the culture of the YouTube comments section changed forever. Google attempted to force integration with its social network, Google Plus, requiring users to use their real names. The backlash was legendary. The Bob Army rose in protest. Users copied and pasted a text art tank driven by a stick figure named Bob, flooding the comment sections of every major video with the message, "This channel is now under the protection of Bob." It was a war between the corporate desire for data and identity and the internet's cherished tradition of anonymity. The comment section, once a wild west of disconnected users, became a battleground for the soul of the platform. The colourful, messy, anonymous culture was being sanitized. It was the moment the community realized they were renting space on a platform that didn't truly belong to them, and they fought back with the only weapons they had: text art and spam. Number 98 is the algorithm shift. There was a specific turning point where the site's brain changed. For years, success was measured in clicks and views. This favored short, funny animations and quick viral clips. Then, the metric changed to watch time. The algorithm began to favor long-form content, let's plays, and daily vlogs that kept viewers on the site for 20 minutes at a time. This quietly killed the animation community. Animators who spent months making a 3-minute cartoon could no longer compete with a gamer uploading 2 hours of footage daily. We watched our subscription boxes change. The carefully crafted shorts disappeared, replaced by part 1 of 50 gaming walkthroughs. It was an industrial revolution of content. The platform shifted from a gallery of art and accidents to a television network of personalities, rewarding quantity and length over the brevity that had defined the viral age. Number 99 is the YouTuber identity. Towards the end of the early era, a new profession solidified. It wasn't just people uploading videos anymore, they were YouTubers. The VidCon conventions began to look like Beatles concerts, with screaming fans chasing teenagers through halls. We watched creators move from their parents' basements to collab houses in Los Angeles. The lighting got better, the editing got sharper, and the merch link in bio became standard. The charm of the amateur faded, replaced by the polish of the professional. While the content was often better produced, something was lost. The feeling that anyone could be the person on the screen was replaced by a star system. The gap between the creator and the viewer widened. The broadcast yourself motto began to feel like a relic as the platform became less about broadcasting yourself and more about broadcasting a brand. Number 100 is the empty chair. As we close this archive, the final image is not a video, but the space where the video was made. Picture the early 2000s computer desk. The heavy CRT monitor is gone, replaced by a flat screen. The webcam, once a grainy eye perched precariously on top, is now a high-definition lens. The silence of the room, once filled only by the whir of a computer fan, is now filled with the noise of 1 billion notifications. The early YouTube era was defined by a specific kind of loneliness, a good kind. It was the feeling of being the only person awake at 3 a.m., finding a video that had only 50 views and feeling like you had discovered a secret treasure. That specific silence is gone now, replaced by the roar of the algorithm and the polished perfection of the influencer economy. But for a few short years, the internet was a small town. We were all watching the same cat play the keyboard. We were all learning the same dance moves. It was a time of discovery, of glitches, and of accidental connections. Welcome to the end of the tape. The archive is now closed. You can sleep now. The buffering is over.